On Tuesday, the Indian Prime Minister in a public speech said that on the basis of the investigations, including agencies of some foreign countries, there is enough evidence to show that the attack must have had the support of some official agencies in Pakistan.
Well, you're asking me that question?
If you agree with it.
Well, I only would say this, that what seems to me to be significant is what the Secretary of State said and a variety of other senior people who have been to India since Mumbai. And that is that this is an attack which came from Pakistani territory. It was carried out to some extent, at least, by Pakistani individuals. There were handlers who were in touch with, during the event, those people on the ground, and those people were in Pakistan. There was training involved, which presumes to have taken place in Pakistan because the people went directly from that to the sea and down. So, in and of itself, that is a very serious problem because this act of terrorism came from Pakistan. I don't think you need to step beyond that in some kind of definitive sense to know that you have a serious problem on your hands, to know that Pakistan has a serious problem on its hands, to know that the United States, because we have a law that requires us to pursue these matters when Americans are killed, will be going there, will be questioning people, will seek access, and will follow leads there with a view to bringing people to book who were involved in this thing. So I don't think you need to get into that more esoteric subject. If you want to, you can, but I don't see really that it's a highly relevant thing to be doing.
I hear what you're saying. Let me put it like this. You've seen the dossier. Does the information or the material in the dossier justify the claim that official agencies must have been involved?
Well, I think, I'm not the one to make that judgment. But to me, the case in the dossier, for the things that I've just said, is very compelling.
The reason I ask you is because you began your first answer by referring to what the Secretary of State had said. And in fact, in an interview to the late edition of CNN program, she actually said that there was no compelling evidence linking Pakistani officials to what happened in Mumbai. Admittedly, that was sometime in early December. Since then, 5 weeks have passed. And you've noticed that the Prime Minister in India has now said that official agencies must have been involved. So, would the Secretary of State now agree with the Prime Minister, given the 5 weeks have passed?
I just think that, from the standpoint of the United States, the issue there is a very complex layout of players. You have a democratically elected government in place and functioning in Pakistan. You have the army. You have the intelligence people. And when you say official sources or the government of Pakistan, that is a very blanket approach. And I think one needs to be very, very careful about making those kinds of allegations unless you have very concrete evidence to that degree of specificity. The United States tends not to get into that kind of specificity unless there's some justification for it. And goes along the line that I suggested earlier, that there's a lot of things here that tell you this is a very serious situation. You don't need to know that degree of specificity to know that you're compelled to pursue the matter.
I fully understand, but as you're also saying, that specific allegations ought not to be made if you don't have specific evidence to back them up. In that event, given that the original language used by the Foreign Minister and the Foreign Secretary in India was to talk about elements in Pakistan, do you think the Prime Minister made a mistake in specifically pointing a finger directly at the Pakistan government or the Pakistan state?
I have no comment to make on the Prime Minister's comment or how he put his view, because that is his view. The government of India has a view. I'm the American ambassador, and I'm talking about the United States' view.
One last question before I take a break. The United States, it's well known, and Britain as well, had made India aware of intelligence that suggested that there were ISI links with the attack on the Indian embassy in Kabul when it happened in summer of last year. Is it therefore impossible or unlikely that there could be ISI links or similar agency links with what happened in Mumbai?
Well, I'm trying to be helpful with you here, but I cannot, as I said before, indulge in in-depth discussion of an ongoing investigation or of intelligence sources and so on. So I hope you'll forgive me if I don't wish to be drawn into those things.
I understand. Let's take a break. Let's come back and let's approach the subject a little differently. We'll be back in a moment's time. See you after the break.